Hello everyone and welcome back to Rebel Brick. Today I'm looking at the Ebben Hawk. Now this is another LesDIY. I got this at the same time that I had gotten the um, Rebel or Resistance Bomber. So I put this one together. This is the Ebben Hawk. So I don't know if you remember the Ebben Hawk from the Knights of the Old Republic role-playing game that was done on like Xbox and PlayStation and computer and all that stuff. This is where this ship comes from. An interesting build. So we have a top side and a bottom side. So you actually have both parts separate, and they do link together here in the middle. So we have in 4 spots that it links together, which is kind of neat and interesting. Then the other interesting part about this, outside of just how nice and cool this looks, they actually have it so the top can come off and you can kind of see some of the areas you had inside the ship. So we have our cockpit in here. Here's our engine. I believe this was our bedroom. We actually have a maintenance bay back here, plus here's our kind of sofa area, sitting area. And I do remember very well that you actually, because you had your crafting bay, so you could kind of modify your armor and everything in there. This is, I believe, supposed to be a Corellian design. Same company that made the YT-1300, otherwise known as the Millennium Falcon, for what we saw out of the original trilogy, and then they brought it back for the last trilogy that they did. It is kind of nice and interesting, the fact that we do have a top turret up here. We do have some side guns on the sides. It's been many years since I have played Knights of the Old Republic, so I can't remember if this actually had missile launchers or not. I do remember the reason why this was out is this was also your entrance into the ship. So I guess me thinking that that's also a bedroom probably isn't correct, because I do remember that there was a ramp, and that's why one side was out more than the other. I always thought it was interesting because of the way that they had done the engines on the back, instead of being a nice big set of individual ion engines, which is what the Millennium Falcon has. This has 2 bigger engines that actually kind of come out here. It was always a very interesting ship that they had done. If I could, I think I would probably try and see if I couldn't find a YT-2400 next. They did have, I don't know, I'm thinking I have one bag missing. They had a nice display stand that this is supposed to sit on. I could not find some of the pieces for that, which, things happen and I get it. I'm not complaining or anything else. It is a very nice ship. I was not expecting to stand, so I kind of cobbled this together to be a stand to be able to display it, although I don't think I'll really display it all that much, but it is a possibility. Otherwise, what I might do is I might take some another Technic piece, and actually get it so that way I can hold it up a little bit better. But it is there. I do have a little bit of a stand, not a big deal. It works. Maybe not the best, but it does work. Kind of mimicking a little bit of what they had done. I kind of went off to the side to try and hold this a little bit better. But we have some landing gear here, so when it sits on that. Sits pretty good. I mean, this is a nice small build. Being able to throw a little bit of a miniature out there for any role-playing game or anything else, or for people that just want a small build of it, because we don't get very much of the Ebben Hawk. I want to say, I think years ago somebody had done one, and of course I wasn't in the position to try and buy it or anything at the time, but to try and look and see if anybody's got it today, I really don't know if that's out there or not. I'm sure somebody probably does. Just like it'd be kind of nice to get a YT-2400 that Dash Rendar had from Now I'm trying to remember what series that was from. It came from a book series. They actually they did it in as a video game, and I remember that was on Nintendo 64-ish, somewhere era. Yeah. But to have a build, and I was not expecting to have this lift up and to be able to look inside and say, okay, so we actually have like a table, something over here. I was kind of originally thinking a bed, but no, that wouldn't work out. But I do remember we actually had to work on the engines, the maintenance section, like a maintenance bay. I do believe they did have a bedroom, so you could change out the different uniforms on your characters and all that. So it was interesting to see how this was all kind of going together, because I'm putting this together. I was like, this looks like we're doing an interior instead of just bricking that all in. And then when they made this, and I see, once I had this, I didn't even need them to tell me that just sat right in there. I was like, I'll be darned. That sits right in there very nicely. I can actually kind of push it in if I want, or I can leave it a little loose so I can pull it out. Once it's pushed in, it does hold that in pretty good. So it is an interesting little ship to have. Not saying we get very many of these. So yeah, it's pretty neat. Not a very long video for this, but there's not a lot to it. It is a very small build. It's not like I'm opening up and saying, here's this, here's that. I mean, I can try and point it out, and I already kind of did. Now that I pushed it in there. Now I'll probably break it. Okay. But to be able to look in here and see how that's laid out, that is pretty nice. And of course, it's too small to be able to see in the cockpit. But yeah, nice build. Looks wonderful. Very pleased with it. Like I said, I did get this off of Amazon, so if you're looking for something like this and that really spikes your interest, go take a look for it. I was looking for micro build. I think it was either Star Wars micro builds or micro ships or something like that, and that's how I came across this one, as well as the bombers. So it's just an interesting ship. I found these when I was looking for, I'm going to pull these out again because I got them handy. When I was looking for these builds, trying to get the fighters, I found that one. I always liked the Jedi Starfighters. I thought that was an interesting, the Editus. I thought it was an interesting design, kind of a precursor to what we get with the TIE Fighters. But then to see that we actually have the Ebben Hawk, I mean, who can resist that one? And like I said, I do like how we have the bomber, although I think I would say it's a little bit faster ship. There's a part of me that would like to take one of these and convert it into a transport ship of some sort, but I don't think it'll probably ever happen, but it'd be an interesting idea. Maybe I will, who knows? See what the future has in store for me. But with that being said, beautiful build, looks wonderful. Took a little bit of time. The only downfall is you have to download the instructions. It's on a PDF. So I'm sitting there with my phone instead of, I'm sure I could have probably downloaded it onto the computer, but because I take it with my phone and then I'm looking through it on my phone. Trying to do these off of PDFs, I would rather have regular printed instructions. But I don't feel like printing them out just to have them thrown away or stored away somewhere else or whatever. So with that being said, thank you so very much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day and keep bricking.